This is Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this podcast series is called Aging Like a Guru. Who, me? Yes, you. I wanted to share with you this morning. I got a chance to sit with my friend Joy, who's over in North Carolina. I'm over here on the West Coast. And we got to share an hour on the phone and talk about how life is for us. She's about the same age as me. She's 67. And Joy is one of those people that when you're around them, you just feel so happy. She's really a joy bunny, and she loves beauty, and she is exuberant and just so clear with her presence in so many ways that it's just so nice to be around her. So to have an hour with her this morning was really a treat. Joy is looking to change jobs. She's been working in retail for about 4 years. It's been part of her life. Retail has been part of her life a long time, but she's looking for something different, something new. And of course she wants it to be fun and playful. And of course she wants it to be full of creativity and beauty. And yet at the same time, her Capricorn nature and her Saturn nature constricts her and constrains her in ways that doesn't allow her to just imagine and step into the imagining of what most of us would think of as unimaginably the right job, the right work, the right career, the right service path, whatever that is. So she's always constrained by what it should look like or what it doesn't look like, and those kinds of things. So she's in that mode. At the same time, I have a client. His name is Garret, and Garret's in his 50s. So where Joy's in her 60s, Garret's in his 50s, and he's kind of in the same challenges. He's this beautiful being that just has so much spontaneity, if you will, and the impulse to create. And yet he says, I'm close to retirement. I've only got 10 more years in this job. And though I hate it, that's going to give me some peace of mind when when I retire and I have this 401k available. But, so I'm miserable and I don't feel nurtured in my life. But, what am I supposed to do? So he too is one of those souls that needs to be creative and move forward in a way that's not attached to the way we think of hard work and efforting. And the third person I want to mention is my friend Mandy. And Mandy is in her 40s, and Mandy is actually doing some really cool things. She has been working in a company that we all, if you're wanting to work in a company, this would be one of the corporations that you'd go, oh man, I work for them. I'm so excited that I work for them. And it's a really cool place to work. And yet she's realizing that that's not who she is anymore. And so where she has been constraining herself based on what other people are going to think about her working at this really cool company, she realizes that she's on a different path. And so Mandy is actually doing some of that really hard work of taking herself out of normal consensus. This is what career looks like. This is what job looks like. This is what making money looks like. And she's shifting that so that she's able to really create a life and a career in that place of love and play and joyfulness. I myself think that that's the way to do it. I'm a life coach, and if you have the willingness to live a life that is your path and live a life that is your unique expression, I of course would really encourage you to do that. That's for me what life is all about, is really following your heart's calling and going in that direction. I wrote a book many years ago, I think it was 2010, and that book was called The Unholy Path of a Reluctant Adventurer. The Unholy Path of a Reluctant Adventurer. I grew up wanting to be constrained, wanting the perfect life, wanting the narrow path. And I kept being pushed into these adventures or encouraged or called, really is what it is, called to live my truest essence. And I was so terrified to do that. So I went in directions eventually, inevitably, that were not in alignment. They were unholy in so many ways. And but they took me into where I was meant to live, much like I think we are all meant to live, in a sense of in that place of the fulfillment of our human spirit. So in writing this book, there were each chapter, it's an autobiographical book. And so each chapter kind of, I was able to see where I took the call, if you will. I followed the calling, the intuition, my heart's desire, and what that was like for me. And I also, explained and described where I made choices based on what I should be doing. For instance, I should get married, and I should have children, and I should just fill in the blank, all those shoulds, what it should look like. And those shoulds are based on what I grew up in, that environment. And so I wanted to replicate it. I think most of us children want to replicate, either we want to replicate our parents' or environment or do something different. But I wanted to do it the way I was supposed to do it. And every time I did that, it was pretty unfulfilling. So there was these times where I could see where I followed my calling and where I didn't. And in a sense, as experiments, I could see where that led me into either playfulness and the fullest expression of myself, in a sense, where I felt the joy and the beauty and the creation and the love and the prosperity, and where I didn't, and where it felt hard and I felt unseen, invisible to myself, where I constrained myself, where I shoulded myself or even hated myself or guilted myself or shamed myself. And I hear that in what Joy is saying. I hear that in what Garret's saying. And I'm hearing less of that in what Mandy is saying, because she's practicing letting go of what's hard to let go of. Yoda says in Star Wars, train yourself to let go of what you're afraid to lose. And in that process, then we can use the force. We can feel the power of what comes through us and move in the direction of that expansion, if you will. These are big words, and it sounds like, oh my God, that's hard, that's hard, that's hard. But what I experienced, and 99% of what I'm telling you and sharing with you in these podcasts is what I've experienced personally, but also then saw evidence of in other people and writings and research. So my point I just lost my point, but the point is that even though it sounds lofty, we do it and practice it if we want to, just in every moment, in the here and now. And in that process, I have to take a breath here because I'm out of breath. I've been talking too much. In that moment, we actually can start to quiet ourselves and listen to the voice that is not the voice of reason and logic, but the voice of our intuition, that wee small voice, as it's sometimes called, or the intuition or the heart's calling, the truest nature of what we are and how that wants to get expressed. And we can listen to that and we can hear it. And every moment we have a choice, and every moment we are choosing either to listen to that constrained, what most of us call ego self, and what is the other self, the high self, the natural essential nature of us. And so we are always choosing, and we're choosing basically either by fear or by, yeah, hell yes, that would be awesome. I ended up doing some really different things than my parents did. I lived in some very beautiful places. I sailed across the Atlantic Ocean on a 93-foot schooner with some people, and went to a school and got my PhD in transpersonal psychology. These are all things that my parents would not have chosen for themselves, and they wouldn't have chosen for me. But I followed a calling which led me to these incredible experiences and these adventures. But as exciting, if you will, of, oh my God, that's such an adventure, I could never do that. Your adventure might be choosing something in this moment, just to think a little thought that's different than how you usually think, or being curious, this book I read all the time, it's called Oneness, and it's by a woman named Rasha, Rasha. It's my favorite book. It's my Bible. And in there's a chapter on the dreamer, the artist, And it's basically about how we dream. Our dreams is, in a sense, what allows us to create the reality that we live in. So most of us dream based on our limitations. I'm going to dream what I know I can achieve, as opposed to dreaming a bigger dream that is beyond in where we used to dream when we were children, when there was just the pure innocence of dreaming. And so the practice of letting go of those limitations, like anytime I think, oh, I can't make that happen because I'm too old, I'm a woman, I don't have enough, fill in the blanks. Whenever I say those things, it limits my dreaming, it limits my possibilities. And so I practice saying, nope, I'm not going to dream that way. I want to know what's beyond my limitations, because I want to know what the fullest potential is of this being. I want to live into my fullest potential. And the intention of these podcasts is, I want you to live in your potential. I want you to know what that is for you, and to even consider the possibility of taking actions based on that. But for you to dream that you have, just dream beyond limitations, is a lot of fun. And that's the start of where joy is. That's the start where Garret is. That's where Mandy is in the beginning of dreaming and allowing it to be fun at that level, and really giving up, as I call this podcast today, stop working so hard at trying. Because when we're trying, we're not actually allowing. We're not allowing. And so that's kind of the point of all of this. So nothing to do, nothing to change, nothing to fix, just the possibility of noticing how you dream and how you want to potentially be different in this unfolding of you in this as an aging guru. All right, this has gone over a little bit, but I'm really glad I got to spend the time with you, and I look forward to another time. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to go to my website and check it out, and find me there and contact me if you'd like to. All right, big hugs, blessings, and bye for now.